So I thought I'd do a relatively short video today, sharing some, I guess you could say, insights I have about why so much of this manifesting advice is ineffective and why it's portrayed so inaccurately on places like YouTube, and why, if you're into these various, manifesting ideas, or really just in general into self-improvement and the, making the concerted, genuine effort to feel better on the inside, if you're into any of that, why I would suggest that you probably do not want to spend so much time on YouTube finding out about these ideas. So let me start by just saying that I've been commenting and been pretty responsive in the comments the last couple months since my last book was published in December. I wanted to engage with people and answer questions that people had about Money Your Friend. And there's been a lot of good conversations. It's been nice to talk to some people on the YouTube comment section. But that said, I'm probably going to curtail most of my responses from now on and go back to what I was doing previously, which is, if you want to speak to me, you can email me at info@radicalcounselor.com. And if you think I can help you by, speaking to you on the phone or on Zoom, I'm still offering free consultations if people want that kind of support. And I mention that because the reason that YouTube and, social media platforms are really inefficient and ineffective way to discuss these ideas is because they remain too superficial and theoretical, in my opinion, most of the time. Especially when it comes to these manifesting concepts and the popular ideas we hear talked about in regards to Neville or Abraham Hicks or any of the other popular or less popular teachers that are, discussed in these circles. There's not enough emphasis put, in my opinion, on the real work that has to be done, the inner work that has to be done in order to feel better more of the time. And by feeling inwardly more okay, more at peace, more of the time, I think it's inevitable that our outward reality will shift as well, in significant ways. But as I always like to emphasize, even if it doesn't shift externally in the ways that you hope for, if you figure out a way to feel more at peace inwardly and to feel more fulfilled inwardly in your daily life, should be, a reward, enough of a reward in and of itself for most of you watching this channel. I hope. And this is just missed by the manifesting community at large. And particularly on places like YouTube. Like I often say, I feel like I'm speaking a different language to most people talking about these ideas on here. I mean, I really do. Just to be blunt, most people watching this video have no idea what the fuck I'm saying. And this is why. It's because people remain in their head about these concepts too often. I'm just as guilty as the next person about doing this a lot of the time. It's very interesting to think about these ideas. However, that is usually not how we effectively apply them. We apply them by feeling them. Feeling them. And that is what very few teachers that I have seen on YouTube and elsewhere on social media talk about sufficiently or effectively how to do that. especially when it comes to like law of assumption, Neville stuff, because that's where I have the most knowledge in terms of seeing how the community operates, the law of assumption community. But this goes for the law of attraction community in general. We're in our head. We are in our head. And being in our head about this stuff is usually a terrible place to be. We want to be in our body. It's the mind-body connection that makes this stuff work more effectively. Or to simplify it even more, it's the mind-body connection, feeling okay and holistically secure in our mind-body, that makes us feel better more of the time. And as I said, if we feel better more of the time, our outward reality is in all likelihood going to shift as well gradually, especially if we know something about these manifesting concepts. But to get them to work in your life, you have to feel through stuff. And specifically, you have to feel through the quote-unquote resistance, the uncomfortable feelings, the bad feelings, the shadow parts, the places you do not want to look at. You have to go there and you have to feel that, generally speaking. There might be some exceptions, but generally speaking, yeah. Generally speaking, that's the work. Looking at our fear, facing our fear, looking at our shame, facing our shame. Feeling that. And that's what is very interesting to me. And that's, I think, in large part, at least, why this channel exists. I already have hundreds of videos on here. I'm not trying to explain new concepts to you usually, or talk about these popular subjects in a popular way. What I'm trying to convey should be very clear. And the fact that it seems like most people don't get what I'm trying to convey means that something's missing. And that something, I think, is the feeling part. So, how can you feel more? How can you feel through resistance more? How can you face that openly? Get better at just feeling it. This is the work. This is what's interesting. This is why I like working with people and talking about this stuff. Is this. Not the theory, not all the stuff mentally going on in our heads. Oh, isn't this interesting? Or this could happen, or this could happen. And, parallel realities and infinite possibilities. And how about that pain in your chest that you don't want to feel and is there? Or that buzzing in your head that you don't want to be there? Or that upset stomach that you don't want to look at? How about that pain? That emotional pain? That trauma? See, that's what's different about what we're talking about on this channel compared to most of these manifesting channels. For most of you, that's going to be the real work. And it's gratifying, fulfilling work to do. And it's humbling. So, I encourage you to explore it if you want to. And, of course, there are so many other ways besides manifesting teachings and law of attraction teachings and even spiritual teachings to get at this same thing. There's all these different therapeutic modalities. There's different types of wellness modalities, self-improvement models to help you do this. You don't necessarily have to get overly spiritual or learn about manifesting to do this. But in my opinion, if you're already here, if you already know about some of these concepts, if they interest you theoretically, you might as well integrate them with your body. You might as well integrate the mind concepts with your body and how you feel. Integrate them together, ground yourself more in these principles, and then you will see them working better in your lives and just feeling better about what you're doing in regards to your life and manifesting a better life, as people like to say. This is the real work. So if you have questions or would like help, I can be reached at info@radicalcounselor.com. And I hope that you got something from this video.